Moving now into the first round of Funny Car Eliminator, it is Raymond Beadle driving the Blue Max out of Dallas, Texas. He is matched against Granada Hills, California's Bob Pickett, driving the Mickey Thompson U.S. Marine Grand Am Pontiac. Funny cars utilizing much the same drivetrain as the Top Fuel dragsters, except they're covered with fiberglass replica bodies of late model American cars. Beadle smoking the tires off the line, and it's Pickett in an upset win in a close race. Bob Pickett taking the win. He turned a 6.57 second elapsed time. That's from a standing start over that quarter-mile distance. 6.69 the losing time for Beadle. And here on slow motion, you can see why he lost it. Right there, the tires losing traction, giving Pickett just the chance to get ahead and hold that lead through the finish line at over 225 miles an hour. Johnny White of Channelview, Texas, backing his Mustang-bodied car up. You see here the parachute pack containing the parachute, helping to slow these cars from their over 225-mile-an-hour run. White is against Stan Bowman from Canton, Ohio. Bowman in the far lane, White in the near lane. Bowman losing traction, White getting close to the guardrail. He backs out of it, then pushes the Mustang through to take the win at 6.84 seconds. Drag racing appealing to young and old alike. Drag racing is bracketed much the same as a basketball tournament where you have various rounds. There are 16 cars in each of the 3 pro categories of Top Fuel, Funny Car, and Pro Stock. That means 4 rounds of racing. We're now in the first round of Funny Car. Here's Tom Kroc in the Castronova Brothers custom body car from Utica, New York, matched against Gary Bergen, the low qualifier from Stanton, California. Bergen recording a 6.29 second elapsed time in qualifying. Bergen into a wheel stand. He has to back out of it, and the win goes to Tom Kroc, and Kroc turns a good 6.39 second elapsed time at over 224 miles an hour. Here in slow motion, you see Gary Bergen, the front wheels going in the air. He very wisely shuts it off, where the car could go much higher than that. Bouncing very hard as he comes back down, and that is just enough to let Tom Kroc go by and hang on a good run to take the win in first round of elimination. The 1975 world champion, Don the Snake Prudhomme from Granada Hills, California. He is the 2-time champion here at the Gator Nationals. He is the defending champion. In 1975, he won 6 out of 8 major NHRA titles. Prudhomme is matched against Dennis Fowler's Sundance, Trip Shoemake driving from Phoenix, Arizona. The burnout, much the same as with the Top Fuel dragsters, is designed to heat the tires to give as much traction as possible, as these motors will put out over 1,500 horsepower to propel these 1,800-pound cars through the quarter mile from a standing start in elapsed times nearing the 6 flat range at speeds over 230 miles an hour. Prudhomme's car, a replica of a 76 Monza, as is Trip Shoemake's. Red light start for Trip Shoemake, and he shuts it off knowing he is defeated, and Prudhomme just sort of eases it through at 6.95 seconds to move into round number 2. Here is the 1974 world champion, Cheryl Greer from Warner Robins, Georgia. His competitor, Little John Lombardo from Sherman Oaks, California. And Lombardo up in smoke off the starting line as Cheryl Greer lays down a good run at 6.39 seconds at over 205 miles an hour to take the win. TV Tommy Ivo out of Burbank, California. Only the second major championship event for Ivo in his funny car. He formerly campaigned a Top Fuel dragster. Ivo is racing Al Sagrini from Richmond, Virginia in the mighty Monza of Bill Levitt. Ivo driving the 76 Dodge. Very close racing here thus far at this 76 Gator Nationals, both in qualifying and in the racing we've seen in first round of Top Fuel and Funny Car. And there's a close one, pulling it out at the very end. Tommy Ivo, 6.52 seconds. The next pair on the starting line, the revolution of Ed the Ace McCulloch. He's on the near lane. In the far lane, Tom Hoover from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Hoover holding a lead all the way through from start to finish. Takes the win, 6.47 seconds at 209 miles an hour. 6:57, the losing time for Ed McCulloch. And a dejected crew member heads back to the truck and the long trip back home to Fresno, California. You can see Hoover moving just very quickly off that starting line, taking a bit of a lead in the middle of the course. As our slow motion camera carries him through to the finish line, so he has about a full car length daylight lead over Ed the Ace McCulloch. The last pair in round number one, Bill Shifsky's car, driven by Topper Kramer from White Bear Lake, Minnesota, against Jacksonville, Florida's own Larry Fullerton. Fullerton, a former Californian, now living in Jacksonville, just a few miles away from Gainesville. A beautiful Trojan horse Mustang, too. They leave the line together. Fullerton running into some problems. Topper Kramer streaking away for the win at 6.70 seconds at over 226 miles an hour. NHRA Championship drag racing attracting a 56,000 plus crowd here in 4 days of drag racing at this 76 Gator National. Championship drag racing, one of the most popular of all spectator sports throughout the world. Funny Car Eliminator round number two. In the near lane, Bob Pickett in the Mickey Thompson car. His competition, Tom Hoover. Sitting patiently, waiting for the green light, then exploding into action. Bob Pickett in the near lane has a bit of a lead. And about a 1 car length lead gives him the win at the finish line. His winning time, 6.65 seconds, 221 miles an hour. The losing time, less than a tenth of a second apart, 6.74. The losing time for Tom Hoover at over 220 miles an hour. Here they are in slow motion at half track. Pickett with about a car length lead, and he holds that through the timing traps and takes the win in round number two action. Cheryl Greer from Warner Robins, Georgia, the Mustang-bodied car. Here's the Dodge of Tom Prock. These the Castronova brothers. They hail from Utica, New York, and here in Gainesville, Florida, the weather absolutely magnificent. Beautiful sunshiny day. The overflow crowd watching as Tom Prock goes up in smoke, and it is Cheryl Greer taking an easy runaway victory in round number two. He recorded a 6.40 seconds at over 207 miles an hour. The next pair, burnouts completed. It's Tommy Ivo in the far lane. That's TV Tommy Ivo, former dragster racer, now converting to a funny car. For 1976, this his second major event. His competition, driving Bill Shifsky's car, is Topper Kramer. Both cars now staged. The green light comes on. And it is Topper Kramer with a bit of a hole shot. Oh, what a close race. Tommy Ivo just pulling it out in the last eighth of a mile, as the hole shot definitely appeared to go to Topper Kramer. Let's watch. Dancing off the starting line is Kramer, what appears to be about a half a car length lead. But here comes Tommy Ivo in the slow motion replay with a half a car length victory at the finish line at 6.49 seconds. The losing time, 6.56 seconds. The final pair in this second round of Funny Car Eliminator, Don the Snake Prudhomme in the near lane. In the far lane, Johnny White. White with problems, Prudhomme an easy run. But a lot of smoke out of Prudhomme's car, indicating some burned pistons. 6.45 seconds at only 192 miles an hour. Prudhomme's got some work. Funny Car Eliminator semifinal racing. TV Tommy Ivo in the near lane. His competition, a longtime competitor, Don Prudhomme. Here we see a slow motion of the burnout by TV Tommy. The rear wheels growing, the tires growing from the centrifugal force. 1,800 horsepower plus under the Dodge-bodied car of Tommy Ivo. Don Prudhomme using the Monza body. Laying down a path of rubber, the crewmen backing up both cars into those tracks provide the most traction to allow these cars to record the outstanding times and speeds over a standing start quarter of a mile. Don Prudhomme far lane, Tommy Ivo near lane, both off together. Prudhomme with a little smoke. A close race. Prudhomme again burning pistons, it looked like, at the finish line. But a burned piston or two doesn't count when you win the race and go into the finals for the third year in a row at the Gator Nationals. Here, the slow motion replay. You see both cars leaving the line very strongly. Prudhomme smoking the tires. He turned to 6.45 seconds, the losing time of 6.55, and that couples up to a little over a car length at the finish line, a tenth of a second apart, the two cars, Don Prudhomme and Tommy Ivo. The body up, that's how the drivers get in the car, by the way, and the crewman starts the engine for Shiro Greer, the 1974 world champion out of Warner Robins, Georgia. He is racing against Bob Pickett, driving Mickey Thompson's Grand Am Pontiac from Granada Hills, California. Both Greer and Pickett making their best showings here at the Gator Nationals in a number of national event races. The far lane, Shiro Greer. In the tower lane or near lane, Bob Pickett. East versus west with Greer representing Georgia. Pickett out of Granada Hills, California. And it's no race at all. Shiro Greer the win, 6.50 seconds at over 206 miles an hour. Frank Farino down at Don Prudhomme's pit.
Dave, we're down here with Don Prudhomme and getting ready for the finals. There is no way we're going to get a chance to talk to Don. As you can see, he's surrounded by Ed Pink. Ed McCulloch is here helping, a crew from the Blue Max, trying desperately to put Don's car back together again. It looks like a couple of pistons went. It's been an uphill fight for Don ever since the competition began, and it looks like if he does get into the finals, it is going to be uphill right up until the very end.
Moving to the finals of Funny Car Eliminator, pitting two world champions. Don Prudhomme, the 1975 champion at the wheel of the U.S. Army Monza, against Shiro Greer from Warner Robins, Georgia. He was the 1974 NHRA world champion. East versus west, inching into those staging beams, getting ready to go for the championship. Funny Car Eliminator at the Gator Nationals. It's Prudhomme off first. Shiro Greer crossing over the center line and having troubles. Don Prudhomme streaking to another victory, his third in a row at the Gator Nationals. Don Prudhomme, 6.24 seconds at over 236 miles an hour, annexing another national title and moving him well into the lead for the points race. Frank is with Don Prudhomme.
Well, you can see a happy man.
Oh, yeah,
Don, one quick second. Funny Car champion, 1976 Gator Nationals. It was an uphill fight from the word go.
It sure was, but yeah, just like anything else, you know, you never give up, no matter what's happening out there on the drag strip, even when you're behind or whatever, until that finish light comes on. No one has won the race.
Back into action with the second round of Funny Car Eliminator. 16 of the finest funny cars in the country opened eliminations here at the Spring Nationals. This is round number 2 action, and this is the defending champion, Don the Snake Prudhomme from Granada Hills, California. Driving a car sponsored by the U.S. Army, Prudhomme is matched against the U.S. Marine car of Mickey Thompson, driven by Bob Pickett. Both cars highly capable of taking the big win here at the Spring Nationals. Pickett on the near side of the track, Prudhomme on the far side. Prudhomme winning 6 out of 8 NHRA national events in 1975, crowning it with the World Championship. Both cars approaching the starting line, inching into those staging beams and leaving the line together. A close race. The wind lights call it. It is Don Prudhomme by just 0.04 of a second. Don Prudhomme advances into round number 3, the semifinals. 6.37 seconds elapsed time. His opponent, Bob Pickett, 6.41. Prudhomme's speed only 206 miles an hour. You see his parachute come out early. Pickett ran 222 miles an hour trying to catch the flying snake. Gary Bergen out of Stanton, California, the man that finished in the number 2 position in the World Championship Series points chase last season, is matched against Raymond Beadle out of Dallas, Texas. Beadle driving the famed Blue Max, winning last year the U.S. Nationals at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Frank asked Ray about superstitions when he comes to the starting line at a drag strip.
The only thing I'd say on superstition, we just don't like any green around. Green's bad luck. No green, no peanuts.
Ray Beadle, the driver of the Blue Max, racing here in round number 2 of Funny Car Eliminator at the Spring Nationals. Gary Bergen of Stanton, California. Funny cars are plastic-bodied replicas of late-model American cars, powered by the same type. Lot of smoke out of Gary Bergen's car. A tremendous amount of smoke, but we see no fire. The parachute's out, and he is bringing the car to a safe halt. Ray Beadle advances into round number 3 with a fine 6.60 second. Here in slow motion replay, you see the smoke very early, right past the Christmas tree, and Gary Bergen drifting out towards the outside of the track. But again, no fire, the driver apparently in no danger, but obviously something going drastically wrong in the engine of that car. And he coasts through the quarter mile as Ray Beadle streaks to a win to put him into the semifinals. As we were saying, the funny cars, plastic-bodied replicas of late-model American cars, utilizing the same type of engine transmission combination in the top fuel cars. Here is Tom the Mongoose McEwen from Fountain Valley on a bye run, 6.63 seconds. His competition, Pee Wee Wallace, suffering a fire in the first round, unable to make the second round of racing. Here on the near side, Paul Smith, the entertainer. He is from a lot of smoke out of both cars. Unbelievable driving job by his competition, Cheryl Greer. Paul Smith popping both parachutes. If we have the slow motion replay, we'll see right here Cheryl Greer from Warner Robins, Georgia, doing such a tremendous job in backpedaling. That means getting the traction back for those tires to put him through the quarter mile ahead of Paul Smith, and puts Cheryl Greer, the former world champion, into the semifinals.
Well, Dave, it's hot and it's humid and I'm dying, but I know you'll understand when I tell you I really don't mind being here right now, standing next to, hello, Linda.
Hi, Craig, how are you?
We were talking a couple of minutes ago about the kind of excitement generated at drag racing, and because you go to so many different kinds of championship motorsports, compare for me, if you will, compare for the viewers, if you will, the kinds of excitement that are generated at all kinds of motorsports and how drag racing compares.
Well, drag racing is an ever-constant race, and special eliminations, you have one-on-one, you have a race every round. And in stock car racing, it's exciting, you have the draft and everything, but you don't have the one-on-one competition like you do in drag racing. So I think that's why it really attracts the young people, the youth market, really come drag racing.
The interesting thing, too, is to watch these people get so excited as one driver over the other pulls out a quarter-mile win.
I know it, and you know they're the best sportsmen in the whole world in drag racing. They'll get out and help one another. When the other fellow just beat another guy, he'll get out and help him the next round. I mean, they're super people. They really are.
Well, in the early 60s, Prudhomme was driving a car by the name of the Greer Black Prudhomme Dragster. They were practically unbeatable out there in a couple of years of racing. And I was driving a car for Ed Donovan Engineering. And we did pretty well, and we beat him a couple times where the other guys were having trouble. And Donovan was big on nicknames and things, rhymes. And he said, that's just like Kipling's Jungle Book, Ricky Tikki Tavi, the Mongoose and the Snake. He said, you guys ought to get that going. And so we kind of pursued it, and it worked out really good.
And get it going they did. Here is Don the Snake Prudhomme, winner of 6 of 8 NHRA national titles in 1975. He has already won the Winter Nationals, the Gator Nationals, and he is matched against Cheryl Greer in this run. And it is Don Prudhomme moving into the finals of the Spring Nationals, 6.34 seconds. Here, the other half of the bracket in semifinal racing, Raymond Beadle in the Blue Max, pitted against Tom the Mongoose McEwen. In slow motion, let's take a look at the burnout of the famed Blue Max. 2,000 horsepower, spinning those huge tires, getting them as hot as possible to get Raymond Beadle down that quarter mile as quick as possible. Backing up into his own tracks to find the best traction is Tom McEwen from Fountain Valley, California. Two of the best funny cars in the country meeting here in the semifinals. The winner advancing to the finals to meet Don Prudhomme. Near lane, the Blue Max, Ray Beadle. Far lane, Tom McEwen. The staging battle goes on. It's a red light start for Ray Beadle, Tom McEwen. It's nostalgia on the starting line of the finals of the Spring Nationals. The Snake versus the Mongoose. The final of Funny Car Eliminator, the Plymouth Duster of Tom the Mongoose McEwen, sponsored by the U.S. Navy. The U.S. Army Chevy Monza of Don the Snake Prudhomme. This rivalry dates back over a decade of drag racing history.
Donald, this is what it's all about. This is where the mongoose and the snake, just like in the jungles, you're going to get it.
Yeah, Tom, I'll tell you what, it's exactly like old times.
Just like old times on the starting line at National Trail in the Spring Nationals. Trouble for Tom McEwen. He falls behind, and it's Don the Snake Prudhomme streaking to his second straight championship in a row at the Spring Nationals. Frank?
Happy man, obviously. Ran a 6:32. We didn't see it. We were too far down. Tell me how it came off the line.
Oh, it came off really good. We ran the car exactly like we ran at the last round. We just ran it all the way through this time, and I think we nabbed the top speed of the meet, which was really great, and we're tickled to death.
Does it ever get monotonous?
Are you kidding? If it did, I'd quit. I love it.
Dave, you got it.
Point in the funny car competition. Don Prudhomme will go against Ron O'Donnell in the first semifinal, and Prudhomme has generated tremendous interest. He is undefeated this year, winning 7 straight. His last defeat came a year ago, right here at Indianapolis. Prudhomme from Granada Hills, California, drives a 76 Monza. He's going against a Chicagoan, Ron O'Donnell, in a 75 Vega. And Prudhomme, the Snake, the biggest name in funny car racing, is looking to win this one today. On the line, waiting for the signal to move. A very careful staging process here. Drivers with their foot on the clutch and the throttle, watching the lights, wanting to get the edge on the rival. Stage. And away. Down the strip they go. Prudhomme and O'Donnell. And Prudhomme runs away with it as O'Donnell has trouble. And it's a piece of cake, as they say in drag racing, for the Snake from Granada Hills, California, as he takes another step up the ladder towards another national championship. The pairings in the second semifinal pit Gary Bergen, runner-up to Prudhomme for the World Championship last year, and Ray Beadle, who beat Prudhomme here 1 year ago. They're both driving 76 Mustang 2s, and Beadle's hood is up, and that means trouble when you lift the hood at the line. Beadle's from Dallas, Texas, wondering whether his mechanics will get the problem rectified as Bergen from Stanton, California, brings his car to the line. Now, Beadle's hood is going down. He should be okay for this crucial semifinal. The winner to go against the Snake, Don Prudhomme, for top honors here in the Nationals, the really biggest event in American drag racing. Great color schemes on these cars, fiberglass body, more than 1,000 horsepower from their turbocharged V8 engines as they wait now to go down the line. There it is. And Bergen runs away from Beadle, who has trouble, obviously, in his car. He's poking along at no miles an hour. It's a tough break for the defending champion here at Indianapolis. But Gary Bergen, Prudhomme's arch rival, gets his shot at Don Prudhomme in the finals as Beadle coasts down the line with a dead car. Recognizing he had trouble, he cut the engine. After all, the cost of an engine in one of these cars is tremendous. The disappointment for Ray Beadle and his crew is really tremendous. Whether you're a big-name drag racer or a beginner, the family plays an important part in the sport. Here, lovely Lynn Prudhomme, wife of world funny car champion Don Prudhomme, lends a hand around the team's truck. She's waiting for her husband, Don, seated here in his funny car, to get fired up. He's got his fire suit on, he's putting on his gloves, and his mechanics are getting the expensive engine ready to start. fuel is squirted into the supercharger air intake as the starter motor is put on the supercharger. There, it roars into life. At the touch of the toe, this power plant can deliver for Don Prudhomme more than 1,000 horsepower. The body comes down now as he heads to the starting line for the big one, the finals against Gary Bergen. Cars are on the line now, and Prudhomme has changed his mind and taken the right lane. Why? Perhaps we'll be able to find out later. Bergen on the near side for the big money. Remember now, Prudhomme has been undefeated in NHRA national competition all year long. The last defeat in this type of competition came here 1 year ago. Bergen on the inside, inches ahead, and wins by a wide margin to unseat and end Prudhomme's victory streak. And for Lynn Prudhomme, it is the agony of defeat. If anyone had a right to have high expectations, it was Lynn Prudhomme. For coming into this meet, Don Prudhomme qualified at 5.978 seconds. The first time in the history of drag racing, a funny car has qualified at under 6 seconds. It was a new national record. He's been on top of the meet since the very beginning, and now in the final, he is beaten by Gary Bergen. What does a wife say to a husband at a moment like this?
All year long. Last year, and here it was Gary Bergen.
Oh, Gary, you pulled it off. How did you do it?
Luck. Luck and a lot of experience.
Did you know you had him beaten?
I didn't see him coming through the lights, so, you know, I presumed he had some trouble.
And here comes the happy crew. The Gary Bergen's crew is just arriving. And there it is, the thrill of victory.
I knew he screwed up when he took that other lane. I knew it.
Right now, let's pick up the racing action, Frank, with the second round. The funny car eliminator, Don the Snake Prudhomme from Granada Hills, California, in the far lane in the red, white, and blue Chevy Monza, has already cinched the World Championship for 1976, and with that goes $25,000. You know, it's been quite a season for Prudhomme, this being the final event of the year. Frank asked him if he had any thoughts about some time off.
Naturally, during our race season, we really don't have time for that, but we're fixing to take a few months off now and regroup and build some new pieces and maybe even have a little bit of fun, go on a vacation or something.
Against Prudhomme, Jerry Boldenau in the Moby Dick Corvette. And a hole shot for Boldenau, but Prudhomme, with the power that he is noted for, pulling away and taking the win. Jerry Boldenau, a valiant effort at 6.44 seconds. The losing time, his winning time for Prudhomme, 6.14. Ed the Ace McCulloch in the Revolution, the Dodge Sport. His opponent, the Hawaiian Ron Colson of Chicago, Illinois, the driver. Two of the finest funny cars here on the starting line at Ontario Motor Speedway. And up in smoke goes the Hawaiian. Ed the Ace McCulloch having his share of handling problems, but he gets there first at 6.56 seconds, and jubilation in the crew of Ed the Ace McCulloch. His speed just 200 miles an hour, knowing his competition, Ron Colson, far behind. In the far lane, Mickey Thompson's Grand Am Pontiac. Bob Pickett, the driver. In the tower lane, the Showtime Chevrolet of Tom Hoover from Minneapolis, Minnesota. A great race as they pass the Christmas tree. And Pickett moves into the semifinals with a fine 6.24 second elapsed time. His speed 234 miles an hour. Earlier, Prudhomme had recorded in qualifying a speed of 240 miles an hour, the second fastest speed ever for a funny car. Here you see Tom Hoover and Bob Pickett as Pickett pulls away at the finish line with a 2-car length lead. Here the Shady Glen car, Pat Foster, the driver. Somewhat of a surprise, a relatively new car based in Southern California, staying around the Southern California racing scene. His competition, Rick Johnson, driving for Bill Shifsky. Fairtown Shaker, they call it. It's in the far lane as you look at the starting line at Ontario Motor Speedway. Shady Glen and Pat Foster with a bit of a lead and wins the race. And an engine explosion for Rick Johnson. The fire coming out of the car, and there goes the body off the car. The parachute's still out. Rick Johnson driving the car out into the grass, and he brings it to a stop. It's still upright. The rear tire's blown, the front tire's blown, and Rick Johnson is climbing out of the car. You saw it catch on fire. Rick Johnson apparently looks to be A-OK. Taking off his fire suit. There you see Rick Johnson's amazing driving job, battling that fire in slow motion. Right now, here's Frank.
What goes through your mind the very second you realize that something like that is going wrong? I mean, was there at any moment when you panicked?
Not really. I mean, I've been through a fire before, and you just do what you think's right. Like, I hit the fire bottles as soon as I saw the flash of fire and saw the body coming off. I tried to keep the car on my side of the track and tried to stop it. The fire got so hot so quick it burnt the brake lines off the car, and I didn't have any brakes. There wasn't anybody in my way down there, so I just took it out in the grass and tried to stop it the best I could.
What happens now with this car?
Well, the body was completely destroyed. It cost about $3,000 to put a body on it. The engine was completely destroyed, and that's $11,000 down the drain. We were going to build a brand new car next month. It kind of looks now like we'll put another body on this car and try and get another motor together for Pomona.
Rick, I want to wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Need it.
Funny Car Eliminator semifinals. Bob Pickett in the near lane driving Mickey Thompson's U.S. Marine car. The favorite, Don the Snake Prudhomme, the U.S. Army Monza. Smoke off Bob Pickett's car, the tires losing traction, and it's Prudhomme through the finish line first. Once again, winning another race and moving into the finals. In slow motion, let's watch, and you can see as Bob Pickett loses traction right there, has to back out, backpedal a little bit, take his foot off the accelerator, and that's enough to give Prudhomme the win, 6.25 seconds, 220 miles an hour. Ed the Ace McCulloch from Fresno, California, his competition, the Shady Glen car, driven by Pat Foster, a new car in competition on the West Coast, doing very well. Both cars completed their burnouts, now staging. Let's watch. A tremendous blower explosion for Ed McCulloch, and Pat Foster crossing the center line. That will disqualify him, but let's look at Ed McCulloch. He apparently is okay, but the car severely damaged. A tremendous supercharger explosion. As the tree went green, Ed McCulloch hits the gas pedal, and off comes the supercharger. There in slow motion, you see it once again. Foster leaving the line okay, but then crossing a little bit later. Let's watch again in super slow motion. Incredible deformation of the fiberglass body as that heavy supercharger comes up through the windshield, fuel spurting out of the lines, the emergency crew right on the scene. Ed McCulloch winning, but he's going to have a lot of work to do if he can even get the car repaired in time for the finals.
Well, David, it's not too uncommon for these people to have to come into the pits and rebuild the engine between runs. Here with McCulloch's car, you see that they've got to be concerned about rebuilding the body itself. When that engine went through the top, you see it destroyed a piece of that windshield. The fiberglass cracked various places on the car. So they're feverishly working on two ends of it. Ed is back there with the engine. They're trying to rebuild the engine. Roland Leong is here. They've got people in and out of the car trying to put it back together again, not really caring what it looks like cosmetically, but simply to get it to where it will function on the line to get into the finals with Prudhomme. They're not quite sure now that all this frenetic activity is going to pay off for them, but they're sure going to try.
And here it is, Funny Car Eliminator Finals. Don the Snake Prudhomme, the defending champion. Ed McCulloch's been having a lot of problems getting this car running. Prudhomme has been running for quite some time. McCulloch unable to do a full burnout. Just trying to get the tires hot right now. The starting line crew trying to get him to the starting line as Prudhomme has been running for quite some time. You see the official starter, Buster Couch, motioning Ed the Ace McCulloch to the starting line. Buster telling McCulloch into the line right now. And apparently too much time elapsing. The tree goes green for Don the Snake Prudhomme. He wins the World Finals for the second year in a row. Prudhomme, your funny car champion at 6.09. Frank's down with Don right now.
Congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
You ended the season the way you began the season. You beat McCulloch at Pomona for the Winter Nationals, and you did it again here. How did it happen off the line? There seemed to be some kind of a problem in getting going.
Yeah, apparently McCulloch had some troubles. You know, he was plagued all day, and it was just unfortunate that we couldn't make a race out of it. But they told us to fire. I fired, went to the starting line, and McCulloch was apparently having problems. And you can't run too long because there's no water in these engines, you know. So therefore, they only have a certain length of time. So he got a red light, and I went on.
You told me you were going to take a little bit of a vacation. This is not a bad way to get it going, is it?
Yeah. Looks like I have a few bucks to do it with. It's kind of nice.
Don, we'll see you next season, and congratulations on a sensational season.
Thank you, and I'd like to thank the Army, too. They've really supported us.
Don Prudhomme, the winner of the 1976 World Finals, funny car category.